From Bezos' Instagram page, congratulations on the flight. Can't wait to join the club.
Oh, it's a club, all right. You ain't in it. George Carlin. Branson's going to space, Musk's going to space, Bezos is going to space. I tell you, ain't going to space, you ain't going to space, but you are paying for other people to go to space in a variety of ways. Why is it so hard to see that these events that are presented as heroic endeavours actually have a very negative impact on ordinary people? Why does the media corroborate these dangerous new myths around billionaires, entrepreneurs, geniuses flying out into space, when actually, don't you remember, people were going to space ages and ages ago? Yuri Gagarin, that was like 60 years ago. So what are we being told? What are we not being told? And what does the return of the space cowboy mean for ordinary folk like you and me?
He has set many global records. This was Richard Branson's attempt to achieve galactic ones.
Straight away, we're off. Richard Branson in a spacesuit, in sunglasses. There's no question that Richard Branson is a very intelligent person and a great business person. Rather than critiquing individuals, Bezos, Branson, Musk, let's look at the systems that underwrite their success and the way that this information is given to us. Because what we're being told and what we're being presented here is an intrepid and ingenious man. That might be true. But what's also true is that Richard Branson, hardly any time ago, was lobbying for a 500 million corporate bailout for Virgin at the start of the pandemic. Do you remember that? And do you remember that Virgin Care sued the NHS last year after it lost out on an £82 million contract to provide children's health services in Surrey? Oi, you won't let us provide children's health services? We're going to sue you because we love children that much. I'll see you in court. Also, it's worth remembering that Virgin Care paid no corporate tax in the UK. Healthcare campaigner Dr. John Lister accused Branson's Virgin Healthcare Group of playing a parasitic role in the NHS, fragmenting services and poaching NHS-trained staff and undermining nearby NHS trust. So you have to look at the totality of this story. The way that these endeavours are funded is in part through the evasion of corporate tax, through lobbying to change government policy and avoiding the kind of responsibilities that if you tried to avoid it, you wouldn't be going to space. You'd be in a different kind of shuttle altogether, shuttled off for 10 to 20.
His walk to the VSS Unity rocket ship, the steps of a man on the cusp of a lifetime's dream.
By focusing on Richard Branson's individual pursuits and successes, what's being obscured by this media reporting is literally what's really happening. This is from Mother Jones. Like fellow billionaires Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, who have recently captured headlines for their own privately financed space programs, Branson runs a very big business. He's been trying for 2 decades to get a space tourism endeavour to get off the ground, catering mainly to people like him, the extremely wealthy. Musk will charge $55 million to take a passenger to the International Space Station, and Bezos will charge $28 million, but will also sit next to the paying passenger himself. Fucking hell! Listen, I accept $28 million. Is a lot of money. Cozy up, buddy boy. It's worth every penny. Can I pay another $5 million to touch your leg? Go on, put it there. You can have this one for free. For all their iconoclasm and daring do and technical wizardry, Musk, Bezos and Branson are accomplishing their takeover of a government space program the same way their rivals in the defence industry have always done it, by lobbying. So they're taking control of government policy through lobbying. Another one of those things that don't you think should just be banned? Like, don't have lobbying anymore. Don't have that people that are working in healthcare make profits from it. That drug companies can't make a profit from anything in healthcare. Imagine how that would change the mentality. Oh, all of the geniuses won't bother. If they can't go to space, then we're not going to work. Well, I don't want people in charge that won't work unless they get shot off to fulfill their boyhood dreams in a space rocket. That's childish. That's a childish way to run a country. Can you see that the media are cooperating in the creation of a dangerous myth? The myth being, we need these great, powerful, real-life Tony Starks to go out to space to build us a future. We can't build a future collectively through our collective talents and our collective beauty and ingenuity. No, we're useless scumbags who can't participate in the creation of these brave new utopias. You just sit back quietly, and if you can't afford 28 million or 55 million to go off to space and hold hands with a billionaire as you look down at the earth and think, oh my God, what's happening to that rainforest, then shut your mouth. Sit down quietly and consume this crap and believe these stories.
A milestone for Richard Branson personally, but also one for commercial space. The emerging market of space tourism has a genuine success story.
Oh, that's nice. Thank God for space tourism. Don't worry that we've got all manner of ecological crises to deal with. Inequality, poverty, division, fragmentation. No matter who you are, how you identify, or what group you feel like you belong to, baffled and crushed under the pervasive pressure of living under lies and faith-based illusory economic systems. Don't worry about that, because the commercial space business is booming. And all it took was for the companies involved to not have to pay any corporate tax, for governments to create policies that advance them, and for space programs that were sort of once a matter of national pride to be abandoned and lost.
Sir Richard Branson, astronaut.
With his new astronaut wings, Richard Branson was back on the ground, but over the moon. His space triumph, part bucket list, part marketing bonanza.
You're being encouraged to be an idiot. That's what I think offends me most of all. I'm offended by the invitation to idiocy. I'm offended by the way that I'm being given this information like I'm a little dumb child. And in fact, let's face it, in most educational institutions and certainly through media, these ideas are embedded so that you have to sort of grasp at and personally conjure a kind of critical ability so that when you see this stuff, you're not swept up in it. Richard Branson, for all I know, might be a really, really nice person with good intentions. In fact, my spiritual beliefs lead me to believe that all people are. But the idea that we're invited to celebrate the individual triumphs and potential commercial triumphs of a small group of people, while there are so many problems in the world that need immediate addressing and so many potential solutions that are being continually ignored precisely so we can continue to bolster these narratives. It's offensive. We ought to be offended by it. Whatever it is that makes you want to mobilize and get out on the street and wave a placard and create new systems and resist the current ones, surely we can all join together in understanding that we have more in common with one another, no matter what cultural or ideological differences we might have, than we do with the people that are actually making decisions. And what bothers me most of all is this is a sort of a potent punch in the face to sort of elicit kind of ongoing idiocy, to keep you punch drunk on dumb, stupid myths, presenting you with like space travel as a solution.
What a day, what a day, what a day, what a day.
Takeoff to touchdown, the roughly hour-long flight seemed picture perfect. About the size of an executive jet.
Yeah, executive jet size, is it good? Yeah, like, oh yeah, for when you're in it. Look, I ain't lying to you. I'm like a person that's lived privileged lifestyles. I'm born in a normal house, in a normal background, but I've been on private jets and stuff like that before. And perhaps I speak from a position of privilege in so much as that I have been near this stuff and experienced this stuff and met these people. And I'm here to tell you, this isn't the answer for individuals. It's not the answer for a culture. All of us, including perhaps Richard Branson himself, are being invited to engage in a mad illusion when perhaps collectively together we could create actual solutions. And those solutions might not involve going in an executive jet looking at a planet. That's that place I won't pay tax in. Oh, there's another place I lobbied for privileges in.
Unity carried Branson and 5 other people.
Release, release, release.
At roughly 45,000 feet, this spectacular image.
It's like a marketing exercise. It's got Virgin written on its belly, you know. The news are cooperating in a marketing exercise for big business. That's all that's happening. How can you trust the same news when they tell you anything? They're plainly showing you what their agenda is, who their alliances are with, what incentivizes them, what their imperatives are. So how can you trust them? You know, look, an advert will crop up somewhere during this video, you know, that'll be for whatever random thing the algorithm slings your way. I accept that as part of reality and the limitations within which we live. But when we are trying to evolve and sculpt new ideologies, let's do it with a clear head, not drunk on the bamboozlement of billionaire bonanzas booting off into space just for an advertising opportunity. Hello, it's me, Russell, in an advert for my own video. What a weird thing. I'm not advertising the video, you're already watching the video. I'm doing a brilliant show, Our Little Lives, Shakespeare and Me, directed by Ian Rickson. It's a streaming show. It will be available on Live Now on July the 14th. I want you to get tickets for it right now. There's a link in the description. It's a brilliant hour-and-a-half long live show where I, using the words of Shakespeare, tell the story of my life and talk about many political, philosophical, theological, ideological notions. It's a stream of information. It's a streaming service. It's funny. It's heartbreaking. It might be the best thing I've ever done. Now, I know you like me to do most things for free. I will. You can't even skip ahead from this advert. You can tap away at that corner. I ain't going nowhere, baby. Please, if you can afford it and if you want to see it, get tickets from Live Now to see my show, Our Little Lives, directed by Ian Rickson. Sort of a collaboration between me and William Shakespeare. I was the more senior writer. It's a really, really funny, enjoyable show. The link for tickets is in the description. Check it out. Let's go back to that video. What I'm saying is probably saying something quite important.
Welcome to Space Unity 22.
For several minutes, everyone inside experienced microgravity mega thrills.
That does look like a laugh, and I would like to experience zero gravity, but on the list of priorities, I read somewhere, my missus read it actually, had told me, the money people are spending on their hobbies could solve poverty in America. So, like, whilst it does look fun to float airlessly, here I am floating in a tin can, to live out the lyrics of Major Tom, I'd rather live out the lyrics of Imagine. I'd rather live out the lyrics of greater ideals. Like, whilst this is being presented as the vanguard, as ingenuity, as exploratory, this is chimpanzee idiocy. Hey, look at what the alpha chimps are doing. These are floating in space, baby. Can I get something to eat? I'm afraid there's no money. There's no money for any actual food. But up there, while you're delirious with hunger, eyes rolling back in your head, comfort yourself with the knowledge that somewhere 56 miles above your head, there's a space wanker having the time of their lives.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. To the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this, just imagine what you can do.
Very little, because all of the money and resources is being hoovered up into a capsule, a vacuum of power held in privilege. Note the casting of the astronauts to distract you from that truth. Capitalism, whatever it may be, is not an opportunity for everybody. I'm not like a let's all go and be Soviet-style communists. This is what I suggest, that you have power and possibility in your life, that you remove the privileges that allow this kind of stuff to happen. The lobbying, the avoidance of payment of tax. That's it. Like, you know, just those things. In a sort of a free capitalist, you know, encourage entrepreneurs and geniuses to do their thing. Okay, well, can they still do it if they pay tax and if they're not allowed to lobby and influence government policy? So the ordinary children that are being addressed in this mad piece of PR do have possibility and opportunity. You know, like, how about saying from space, to all you children down there for whom we provide health services in Surrey, we're going to be suing the NHS and not paying any corporate tax. That's also true, you know. That's also true. More true than what's being said in that puff piece.
Branson floated on air in every sense.
I have dreamt of this moment since I was a kid.
I remember Bezos in his videos saying the same thing. I've dreamt this moment. We've all had dreams when we were kids. That's what being a kid is about. How about a reality when we're adults that we all share in? How about, instead of pursuing this commercial project that wouldn't be done if you had to pay tax or couldn't do lobbying, creating fairer, better societies. Now, like, I'm sure both Bezos and Branson and all these billionaires can point to socially responsible endeavours that they fund, but they don't take a great deal of unpacking, frankly. You find out that tax is avoided as a result of it, funding gets held in certain types of account. I mean, it's all like shady deals, you know. What I would like is explicit, honest, open, transparent endeavours, not to reach new spaces up there, but new spaces in here. New, fairer, better societies for everybody.
In the battle of the space barons, Branson now has billionaire bragging rights. He personally got to space first, before Elon Musk of SpaceX or Jeff Bezos of Blue Origin. From Bezos' Instagram page, congratulations on the flight. Can't wait to join the club.
Oh, it's a club, all right. You ain't in it. George Carlin.
Virgin Galactic has 2 test flights left this year. They intend to start flying customers to space next year at $250,000 a pop. Lindsay?
$250,000 for the ride of a lifetime, Gio. Thank you.
We're literally doing adverts for it now.
Richard Branson has dreamt of this since he saw the first moon landing. He realised his dream today, so did all those who've planned this trip for years, bringing the chance of space travel a little bit closer for us all.
If at the advent of the internet we'd had the foresight to say, why don't we regulate these spaces so they don't become colonised and corporatised like physical space has done? Perhaps now that we're looking at outer space, we could have more perspicacity. Don't make this the domain of billionaires. This is something that could belong, we can't even belong to any individual. Like, think of an indigenous attitude to the earth. This doesn't belong to any of us. We're custodians passing through. Think of how that changes your mindset, not thinking about your individual pursuits, your individual pleasures. This is a war for consciousness that's taking place. It's already been won in the online spaces. It's already dominated by corporate power. It's already been colonized, and there are ways perhaps of resisting that, but it becomes increasingly difficult. So this space stuff, even though it seems quite frivolous and jaunty and joyful, it's actually the privatization of the future, the privatization of exploration and new terrains belonging to, and for all of the conversations that are going on around identity politics, just note a few key details about the 3 people that are off into space right now. If you liked that video, please press like, comment below, keep the conversation going, be nice to one another, subscribe to my mailing list and learn about all the stuff I'm up to. Like every single week on Luminary, I do a podcast where I talk to an expert or an academic about deep stuff, really get into it. Similarly, I do a meditation over on Luminary as well, so you can keep your head together for all this stuff. If you want to do these things for free, Awakening, my side channel here on YouTube, does meditations and deep well-being related content 3 times a week. Check it out and please subscribe to that too. Thanks very much for watching this. Keep your head together, stay alert, stay in tune, keep your feet on the ground, because I reckon that's where the real stuff's happening, on the old terra firma, not off in the astronauties.